Over the past few months, Nio, the electric car company that has been praised by many CEOs around the world, has focused on targeting Tesla. Now, Nio are not targeting Tesla's sales. It at least doesn't appear that way. They haven't reduced the prices of their electric cars all that much, although they did bring out the ET5, which is their cheapest EV and a direct competitor to the Tesla Model 3. However, when Nio's CEO was asked a question a few days ago at the Shanghai Auto Show about Tesla, he responded in a way that I have to admit did shock me. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Coming to you from Thailand. I'm here in Jomtien, sort of Pattaya in Thailand. It's a nice place to be, but it's very interesting the way the streets are pretty quiet from a Monday to Wednesday. But when it comes to a Thursday, it seems like half of Bangkok comes down here to come to the beach and have beach parties. It's not something I expected to see. And nor were these comments from Nio's boss, which I think are maybe a little bit harsh, maybe a little bit exaggeratory, maybe, I don't know, is he jealous? I mean, why would you be this negative? Now, after Tesla decreased its prices for its EVs in December and January in China and a number of other countries worldwide as well this year, especially in countries where Nio are selling their EVs as well, such as Europe and China, car industry executives have had to endure the same question over and over again, which is what? Are you going to respond by lowering prices yourself? Well, first of all, Nio is saying that they will be offering an EV in Europe priced under 30,000 euros, which would mean that would be cheaper than any car Tesla currently sell. But they haven't said when that'll be. It could be here in a year, it could be 10 years. No one knows. They haven't actually committed to a timeline there. So until that actually happens, well, we can't take it too seriously. Because Tesla are also working on their own low-cost, affordable electric car, which is the Model A or the Model 2, the $25,000 car. We don't know if that'll be the price, but I suspect it probably will be close to that price. Now, I'll put a link in the description below to my video about the Model 2. So when asked this question, Nio's CEO said this, just flat out, no, definitely not. Our products and our service are worth the price customers pay today. He stated this in a widely quoted interview with CNBC. He knew it was being quoted with CNBC. But the thing is here, Nio don't have many orders right now. Their sales haven't really increased much at all for 12 months. And they promised to sell 200,000 electric cars this year. They are nowhere near on track to sell that number of cars in the world. So maybe a small price cut could be a good idea. I mean, Nio could cut their costs, their overheads massively and put some of that money into their EVs, into streamlining production, for example. Now, Nio spent enormous sums of money on building out battery swapping stations. They have more than 1,000 battery swapping stations, and they have Nio houses where you can go and hang out with rich people that also own Nios, but I don't know, the Nio house is meant to be a place for rich people where you can kind of be seen and have a nice time, maybe drink a coffee or something. But they spend millions and millions of dollars on these Nio houses. So Nio have some massive overheads. In the first quarter of this year, Nio delivered 40,000 electric cars. That's for 3 months. So an average of around 13,500 per month, which is a small increase over the same quarter of last year. Now, considering Nio's investments into their battery swap stations and into other parts of their business, it's a relatively small number of sales. And Nio, clearly based on their delivery timeframes right now, you can order a Nio car and get it almost straight away, doesn't have a whole lot of pre-orders or back orders. Probably one of the reasons being is that they mostly sell cars in China. And right now, there is a bloodbath going on in China. The automotive industry is really in dire straits. Nio CEO Lee said that Nio will instead use resources to establish more battery exchange stations. So they're going to build out more and more of these battery swapping stations all over Europe and continue to build more of them out in China. At the same time, Nio's CEO announced a couple of changes, which in practice will mean greater expenses for customers, fewer free battery changes per month, and the introduction of a monthly subscription for use of the car's driver assistance system. So Nio is saying, if you want to use driver assistance in our cars now, you have to pay a subscription service, and now costs are going up for renting the batteries as well. down on the exhibition floor during the exhibition in Shanghai. Swedish publication Automotor and Sport started to ask the CEO some questions. And they posed a question. They said, come on, surely you got to reduce your prices somewhat to compete here in Europe, in Sweden, right, throughout the rest of Europe with Tesla. He said, we will not lower the prices because we do not compete directly with Tesla, which has old and bad models. Old and bad models. I don't believe this is a problem with translation here. I believe he speaks pretty good English. He followed up by saying, the Tesla Model 3 was good when it came out, but now there are many Chinese car models that are much better. Now, I don't think he's aware of the fact that Tesla are about to bring out within the next few months the new Model 3 Highland, which will be a huge upgrade over the existing Model 3. And it's why a lot of people are not buying Model 3s right now. They're waiting for the new model, which makes total sense. If you haven't seen my video about the 20 changes to the new Model 3, then I'll put a link in the description. You can check out that video. Now, NIO's CEO said, when asked the question, they said to him, well, okay, if Tesla is not a good brand and what they make is bad and old, who is good? And he said, well, BYD and Geely. Now, the truth is Geely don't make EVs themselves. Well, they do. They own brands that do, but Geely is not an EV in and of itself. He's probably referring to Zeekr EVs potentially, maybe Polestar or Volvo. I'm not really sure. He didn't elaborate on that. Who knows? And he went on to say this. For several years, Tesla has had an aggressive pricing strategy that has put pressure on many competitors. But in the end, it is the quality of the products that decides what you get for your money, he says, when asked directly by Automotor and Sport. Now, on the same exact day that he made these comments, there was two different Tesla reviews that came out from two different publications, one in the US and one in the United Kingdom, two different major automotive publications. Both of them gave Tesla's Model 3 a 4.5 star score. 4.5 out of 5. That's 9 out of 10. But that's for the old version of the Model 3. Now, I'm not saying the new version is going to be 5 out of 5. I have no idea. The price could be more expensive, and therefore the review score might reflect that. But if it's still getting a 4.5 out of 5 and NIO's CEO says it's bad and old, maybe it's more his opinion and it's not really factual. That's what I suspect here. Now, the CEO did admit that Tesla's pricing policy has presented challenges that are directly measurable in NIO's profitability. But the thing is, if that's true, then I don't understand. I mean, he's saying they're not going to reduce the price of the cars, but somehow it's affected their profitability. That doesn't really seem to make sense to me. He said, the goal of doubling the number of cars sold on an annual basis to 220,000 may be difficult to achieve. And I tend to agree with him considering their current sales figures. They've sold 40,000. They need to sell another 180,000 over the next 3 quarters this year. He said, maybe we can do it after all. We still have 9 months left of the year to worry about. Now, actually, you've got about 8 months. So I'm going to guess that NIO's CEO is probably not too happy with Tesla. And maybe that's the real reason why he's calling their cars old and bad. I mean, realistically, what are your thoughts on this? Do you agree with him? Are Tesla's cars old and bad? Or is this just a guy who doesn't like Tesla? He has made a lot of negative comments about Tesla's vehicles. He says the only thing that they do well is production efficiency. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.